morning. Today we are in Brandix Essential Radmalana. So we are going to interview Chief Financial Officer Mr. Naveen Wijetunge. Without further ado, let's go.
Well, I would say he's a great example for all of us, and he has always been a good mentor to bring out the best version of ourselves. He's 24/7 full energetic and also super flexible to work with. And most importantly, trust and the confidence that he's placing on us is the best motive for us to keep moving ahead in the challenging environment. Hands down, he's a bit serious at work, but to see his fun side, you must go party with him.
Hello, we are subgroup B5, Postgraduate in Business Management, MBA 2022, subject Leadership and Business Development. Today, we are here to interview Mr. Naveen Wijetunge, Chief Financial Officer, Brandix Essentials. Brandix has around 10 plants across the globe, 6 in Sri Lanka, 4 in India and Haiti, and Mr. Naveen acts as the Head of Department Finance in all 10 branches. Mr. Naveen, good morning.
Good morning.
So let me start off by thanking you for giving us the opportunity to be here. We are truly humbled by your presence.
Thank you for having me here today.
Thank you, sir. So to explain the purpose of this interview, we are trying to get the struggles that the corporate leaders in Sri Lanka went through and in turn depart this into the leaders of tomorrow in Sri Lanka. Shall we go ahead and get started?
Yep.
Mr. Naveen, you occupy one of the strategic positions in Brandix. And in doing so, let me ask you first question. How did you come to this industry, or what made you feel that you want to start in this industry?
Well, that was in 2004 when I was a final year CMA student. So in one of the classes, the one lecturer who was working in MS Holdings told us there were few vacancies that they are looking at for their finance department. So I was at that time searching for a good establishment to get a better opportunity. So I applied for finance executive vacancy, and fortunately I was selected. So that's how I came to the industry and started with MAs.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Naveen. So was there a turning point in your career that made you feel like, okay, I want to go into finance, or was this something that you decided when you left school?
Turning point in my career, I would say that when I joined Brandix in 2007, right? So if I just elaborate a little more, so after joining MS Holdings, I worked with MS for 3 years, and also I got an opportunity to join one of their plants in India in 2007.
Okay.
So same time in 2007, Brandix having their first investment in India, Visakhapatnam, having their first manufacturing unit,
Okay.
and searching for a person to head the finance department.
Okay.
So fortunately, I was selected to head the finance,
Okay.
and I would say that's the turning point, because at that time, in fact, that's from Brandix point of view, that's their first investment. It's a huge investment with the lot of growth potential. On the other hand, I was just a kid to the industry, just having 1 year experience in India, right? So it's an unknown territory for me. So I accepted the risk and I took the challenge, and everything went well.
Great. So moving into finance, we all know finance plays a key role in any organization. In doing so, could you tell us if you have any uncommon strategies that you use to manage your businesses?
I would say when I started in India, right, it's to me it is unknown territory. So one thing what I did, I wanted to do everything in my own, which is related to finance in the initial period, right? So it's starting from petty cash disbursement, then tax filing with the tax authorities, and working with the banks, opening letter of credits. So one good thing happened over a period of time. There was no dependency on others, because I knew what to do and whom to speak to, right? So that helped a lot to grow the business, because we had the leverage of giving the flexibility to get the things done immediately, right? So that's one thing. And secondly, I would say our approach was to provide a business partnering role to grow the business. It is not the typical finance that you do a P&L, you do a variance analysis, and you share and ask for the analysis, variances, right? For what we thought, it has to be something better than that, because it's business partnering, that you work with the business teams, help them to grow the business, do the forecasting, and make sure that there are no variances at the end of the month.
Okay.
So that's the approach we have taken, and which brought us to grow the business in a very short period of time.
Okay, that's great, sir. So, taking by what you said, I can understand that stress is a core factor in your day-to-day work. What do you do to manage stress?
Okay, so the stress is always there when you are work, right? So, how good that you control the stress is depend on the way that you work, right? To me, over a period of time, I have developed to keep the patients at a very high levels in the difficult scenarios or the different scenarios, right? That helped me to control the stress. And also in my career, especially at the last couple of years, one thing I learned was I will not take anything very seriously.
Okay.
Because at the business you will go to the different difficult situations, right? There are certain concerns, but if something has happened, it's already happened. It's no point that you screaming on it.
Yeah.
Always you have to see what has gone wrong and you have to take the corrective actions. But my approach is, what is next? What's the next we have to take to avoid it and get rid of the concerns that we are having. Yeah. So that makes sure that you run with either very low stress levels or even at a very stress-free environment.
Okay. So you go with the approach, learn from your mistakes, yeah?
Exactly.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Naveen. So, Mr. Naveen, I'm pretty sure you are the role model for a lot of people in Brandix. But was there anyone who you thought as a mentor or a role model in your field?
Yeah. To be honest, I didn't have a permanent mentor in my career, right? But always I learned a lot from the role models. Okay. It can be even my previous establishments, the current job, or even wherever I go. If I identify someone as a role model, I always learn from them. It can be their behavior, it can be the approach that they have on different aspects, or the way they talk. We always learn, which will impact to develop my career as well, the overall developments.
Okay. So, you would say that it's not just work that matters, but also attitude and your behavior, yeah?
Exactly. The value system that you live with is very important for your developments, overall developments.
Okay. So, Mr. Naveen, we all can say for a fact that the recent pandemic, the coronavirus pandemic, was a huge hit to the global businesses, right? What would you say in the leadership, the changes that were made to accommodate to the coronavirus?
COVID-19 had a very bad impact on the industry, especially the apparel industry, because we are working with time and action plans with our customers. So when the customer places the order, we have to execute it and we have to deliver on time, because customer will have a different timelines to launch these products and do the distribution and carry out their marketing activities. But with the COVID restrictions, we had to close the plants for weeks, even for months, which result in order cancellations, right? Okay. So at that time, it was a time that we have to survive and we have to take certain actions which has impacted on the people as well. So as a leadership team, what we did, we had a discussion and we had to change our approach. So few things what we did, we agreed and we understood the transparency is utmost important and the communication is very much important, and also make people aware of what's happening. So we have the continuous the communication campaigns with our teams, right, and made them aware of what's happening and the logic behind each and every initiative or the actions that we have taken. So at last, all agreed, because they agreed that whatever we do, it's based on the survival of the industry at the difficult time period. So it went well. The approach, the way that we differently approached at that time, made a difference for us to come very soon out of the situation.
Okay. So in times of crisis, you would say communication is key when it comes to survival.
It is very important, because you have to be transparent with your stakeholders. So you have to communicate and you have to make them aware what's happening, because sometimes if you are not doing so, people will not know why the companies will take certain actions. It's always better that you have a good communication and awareness sessions with your stakeholders, especially the employees.
Yes, got it. Mr. Naveen, now Brandix is an industry in Sri Lanka that many youngsters aim to get into. Right? What does Brandix look at, or what do you as a recruiter look at when you try to recruit new bloods? What are the challenges you are facing?
Okay, so when I recruit a person, it's not a typical finance accountant that I'll recruit, because we want a person, finance accountant, finance expert, who can be a business partner, who can support the business to grow, right? So for you to do that, you have to be a good influencer. You have to be a person who can collaborate with others. Others mean other departments. It can be marketing, it can be supply chain, or it can be any other department, right? Who can communicate properly, who can collaborate with others and cooperate, right? So those are the skills that is essential for you to be a business partner and you to be a good leader, right? So certain cases I do see that these skills are missing, but of course if 40 to 50% they are fit, we always recruit them and we develop them to become next level leaders. So that's what I see the current requirements overall from the youngsters.
Okay.
What is required for the business.
Okay. So Mr. Naveen, is it fair to say that gone are the days that recruiters look at paper qualifications and now it's more into your soft skills?
Of course, because today with the technology developments and all other, the decentralizations and then moving to BP operations, the required skill levels has changed.
Okay.
Today, businesses does not need a person who will give you a finance statement at the month end and do a post-mortem, the analysis, right? Today, by pressing one button, you will get the finance statements.
It's automated, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So you're more into the people that you recruit into, yeah?
Yes. Today, what you need is a different set of skills.
Okay. Okay.
Right, to grow the overall business.
Got that. Mr. Naveen, in Sri Lanka, finance is an ingrained ideology. We have a lot of learning partners like CIMA, ACCA, Chartered, offering courses, world-class courses in finance. Yeah. Do you see a hole or a lack of something that can be fixed in these partners? Do you see that these don't cover certain areas that you want?
CIMA, ACCA, Chartered, I always say it will add lot of value to the finance professionals, right? So it gives us what's happening in the industry and exactly what you require to practice when you come to the real world, right? Having said that, what I would see the possible areas to improve, one is analytical skills, because today with the technological development, most of the companies are talking on the analytics, how the analytics can help to overall reduce the cost basis and improve the productivities and improve the profitability. So that is one aspect that we can think of, incorporating it into a professional course. And also, like I said, all other soft skills. Okay. Right? How you make a person, how you start these behavioral changes, like the collaborative, be a better collaborator with others, right? And be a good influencer. So these kind of things, of course, we can think of, including to a proper course.
Oh, thank you, Mr. Naveen. So being the Chief Financial Officer, you have a plethora of people working as your subordinates. What sort of practices do you inculcate to nurture leadership skills in your subordinates?
Yeah, to nurture the leadership skills, at a very basic levels, what we do when we recruit a person, we will give full freedom for them to work their own with a very less supervision, right? So first 3-4 months, of course, they will feel little uncomfortable because it's a unknown territory for them, right? Unknown people. But maybe after 5-6 months, they learn a lot, right? Because they know how to solve a problem, to whom to approach, how to do a proper communication. So that itself improve their leadership skills within a very short period of time. So the dedication is happening at all the levels. Secondly, I would say we will have periodical rotations, right? It can be within the department where you can go to your next levels, and also within the company, within the essentials cluster, where if you are good at operations, even you can move as an operation manager from finance to operation, because this is highly regarded, because once you are good in finance, you can take any role because you add that value, you give that finance flavor to all other aspects, right? And not only that, even within the group, we do a lot of rotations, including foreign assignments. So people get a lot of opportunities, go to next level and improve themselves. And also, we have a very clear, well-defined succession plan for the team. Okay. We have mapped them. So whenever we see that there's a vacancy and the person is ready, we will do the rotation.
Okay.
And apart of that, from HR, they too have well-defined programs to develop overall leadership skills of the teams work in the departments.
Okay. So, Mr. Naveen, what is your point of view when it comes to flat organization and a more structured organization? What do you prefer?
See, now today with the overall, especially it is applicable for today because with the overall global recession, right? So people losing jobs, right? The profitability has gone down. It's always there's no any other option than you right size your structures, right? And make sure that you are running with the very low cost structures. So it is always better you run with the flat structures.
That's
right? And make sure that the correct operational structures and the cost structures are properly managed.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Naveen. So we all know technology is an ingrained aspect. We all need to incorporate technology to grow, especially in the apparel industry. Do you think the novel technology right now is more helping towards growth, or is there a bad side of it as well?
Obviously, it will help. Even we as a group, we are also into the transformational change, covering the digitization and analytics. So when it comes to digitization, especially from the apparel sector, we are working on few aspects. One, process automation, where you de-skill the requirements, de-skill the operations, and improve the efficiencies, right? And then the product innovation. Product innovation is basically you invest on different fabrics or different product designs and giving a novel product to the customer. So thirdly, automating certain front-end operations, right? Where there are routine operations depend on the people. So by automating that, there you will bring the efficiencies and overall cost reduction.
Okay.
Other side, the analytics, as I said, it's very important because today you have to be very futuristic. You have to identify where you can save cost, where you have wastage in your operations, right? And come with the actionable insights.
Okay.
Where your seniors or the senior top management can take the decisions, right? And improve the overall profitability.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Naveen. We just spoke about how you grew and how you came to where you are today. But if you were in your mid-20s and starting a career right now, what are the choices, or how would you plan your career considering the political and the instabilities that's going on in Sri Lanka?
Okay. See, as a responsible citizen, always you have to serve your country.
Yes.
And you can do it different ways, right? So even without having this, the current situation, when in my mid-20s, in fact, I got an opportunity to work in overseas, right? Okay. So I worked in overseas, I got a $1 salary, and I sent it to Sri Lanka through the banking system, okay. Right? So I think I served the country. So even today, right? So if you are getting a good offer, right? It's not just you are moving out of the country just to get rid of the concerns. No, that's not the case, right? So if you are a professional, if you are getting a good opportunity, even it's okay. It's open for you to go there, right? And serve your country. I think that's the option available. Unless, especially when you are not having much commitments here, right? So it all depends on the commitments you are having with your families, right? All other stuff. But mid-20s, I think you are at a very low level of commitments where you can take your own decisions.
So on the same note, sir, what do you really think about the future for Brandix operating in Sri Lanka?
See, now if you take overall apparel market, it is $440 billion overall apparel market, right? So what is our take as a country? It is only 5 billion, which is 1%.
1%.
So we are serving only 1%. There's a huge potential, right? So that's what we see, right? So yes, at the moment we are just running very turbulent time period because of the overall recession. But very soon we can get rid of this. We can come out and we can go for doubling our capacities, doubling our turnover and make it 10 billion.
Okay.
Right. So that's the plan that we all have as a leadership team.
Great, sir. Apart from the situation in the country, sir, is there any other barriers that is keeping you from achieving that vision?
See, now if you take Brandix, currently we are operating in different countries: Sri Lanka, India, Haiti, Bangladesh, right?
Bangladesh.
Essentials we operate in, like you introduced, in Sri Lanka, India, and Haiti.
Yeah.
Because Sri Lanka, the problem is it's a very small scale country, right? We cannot cater entire requirement from here, right? So obviously we have to go to other countries and we have to invest. But overall, the country will benefit because the full sales values will come to the country. So that's one challenge I see, Sri Lanka as a location. But secondly, of course, currently what's happening at the environment, right? All these protests and all, right, will result in at customer mind, they'll think Sri Lanka as a location is a risk, right? So they want us to move certain products from Sri Lanka, their orders from Sri Lanka to some other countries. So that we have to be very make sure that any actions that we are taking, right, will not have any impact to the overall industry.
Mr. Naveen, we have a lot of youngsters aspiring to do their masters, especially in campuses like PIM and University of Colombo. What do you see when it comes to your masters? What do you have a focus on?
Yeah, MBA offered by PIM is truly gold dust for me, because when I came in 2017, I wanted to get an MBA qualification. So most of my seniors, what they recommended is to do the MBA at PIM. So within a very short period, we realized how it add value to us, right? So the behavioral changes, what we discussed. So most of these behavioral changes we learned, we practiced at the time that we were at PIM, and also we continued to practice it. So to me, I think it is the best MBA available in Sri Lanka, and which will add lot of value to you as well as even to the company where you work.
Well said, sir. And when it comes to work as well as your life, how do you balance? I'm sure you have a hectic schedule with work. How do you balance your work outside life and your work at office?
Work-life balance is very important to each of us, right? But to me, it's depend on how you structure your time, right? So if you prioritize your task properly, right? If you manage your time properly, you can have a better work life, right? Because what I seen in my experience, most of the time people will not have work-life balance due to two reasons. One, maybe daytime they are just wasting time, and by the time they understand that they have to complete something, it is evening. So then they have to work night and you are out of the work-life balance. Secondly, certain employees are addicted. Okay, so whether it's a priority or not, whether you need to complete it or not, you will work till night. That you see, right? But overall, what I learned, if you prioritize work, right, if you allocate some time, you can have a good work-life balance. Because if you take our company here at 6 o'clock, we'll switch off lights. All transport goes, right? Whether you like it or not, you have to complete it. And I have not seen any concerns. So they will make sure that they will have a quality time to spend with their families, right? And overall, they will balance their time within work and their family life.
Sir, one last question, sir. What would be your message to the younger generation who are aspiring to grow within an organization? What do you want to depart to them?
Okay. My message to younger generation, number one, you have to live with the right values, right? So correct, good value system, right? You should not go behind money, right? The first thing is live with the correct values, because we always, as Brandix, we work on very simple 4 values: respect each other, integrity at all levels, teamwork, and excellence, whatever you do, right? So when you work on these right values, one day money will come behind you, right? So that's my first message to them, right? So have your foundation with the good value system. So secondly, as I already informed, you have to be a product what business required today, right? So different skill levels today, business asking from you, right? So it can be analytics. So it's always better that you have a kind of a, the awareness on the analytics and how it works, and also the soft skills, right? So influencing, be a collaborative person, because what I see today at leadership level, these are the training that they give. So why not we start in advance? Why we wait till you become a leader to learn all this stuff, right? Because today you see that even leaders lack of these skills, right? So it's always better you as a youngster understand what's the business requirement and have your own development starting from now onwards. So you will become a very competitive product. when you come to the market, and be a good leader as well.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Naveen. I'm sure you have a very tight schedule. Thank you for having me with us. And also what we spoke about, I'm sure this will help a lot of youngsters out there.
Thank you very much for having me here today.
Thank
And
you.
also, I'm wishing you all the very best for your future endeavors.
Thank you.